right over here. Awesome. Actually, I don't need to smelt you right away. Take the iron. It's. Look at this. There's mud. That's the African rainforest.
That's right, we're in Africa. Why? Because I'm gonna exploit this place for its natural resources, that's why. By the way, if you haven't caught on by now, I'm gonna spend the next 100 Minecraft days messing around on the scaled version of the Earth. Apparently, this map has a realistic distribution of ores, so after getting some wood, I went to the west coast since I knew there's gonna be more iron there. And wouldn't you know it, I immediately dug down into an iron vein.
Oh, no way.
I spent the entire day mining iron, and when I eventually came back up to the surface, it was already night. While I was killing some mobs, this happened.
Oh, no way.
Obviously, I immediately trapped the fella in a boat. We'll call him Jim. In the morning, I moved to a spot where apparently diamonds are more common. Set up shop, got some kelp, and cooked it so I can eat it. I have big plans for this video, but first I'll need at least some basic tools and armor. So I just jumped right back into the mines to get more stuff. Died once to some lava, but somehow managed to save my items by clicking like a bajillion times in a single second. And yeah, honestly, that's all I did. I just kept mining.
Oh, hell no, not Nemo. What the fuck?
On day 3, I resurfaced having mined 14 total diamonds, 3 of which I used on a pickaxe. Nearing the night, I grabbed all the valuables I had and ventured over to a land far, far away. Yeah, I walked 2 minutes to Europe, specifically the UK, where I set up all my stuff and found yet another zombie villager. This is extremely good, actually, since there aren't any villages in this world, and I mean, now I have 2 villagers, so I can just make them breed. The remainder of the night I spent in Africa killing mobs. My first objective, if you want to call it that, was to kill the Ender Dragon by day 10, so I had to use every chance I had to get E-pearls for the end portal. That night, I also killed enough spiders to craft wool out of string for a bed. Shut up! Shut up! Yes, I know. I will be sleeping through some of the nights in this challenge because, trust me, it's long enough, okay? Oh yeah, also I saw this Enderman spinning his ass off on my way back to the UK, although it stopped right as I looked at it. I saw your ass! Alright, no more distractions, okay? Daddy is back on the grind. I flawlessly built a nether portal and spawned in a basalt delta biome. I hate the basalt delta biome. At least the fortress wasn't that far away, so I just jumped in, slapped some blazes around, got 9 blaze rods, and was out of there basically unscathed. Can you guess what I did after? That's right, I motherfucking hit the hay. I'm talking to... In the morning of day 5, I encountered a big problem. You see, I, like every other Minecraft player, would like to have mending someday. And the only way to obtain mending without losing your sanity is by trading for it with a librarian villager. But you see, to get a librarian villager, you need a lectern. To craft a lectern, you need a bookshelf. To craft a bookshelf, you need books, I mean, obviously. And to craft books, you need leather. Riddle me this now. Do you see any fucking cows in here? I suppose this is a problem that future me will have to solve. In the meantime, I swam across the Atlantic Ocean to the US with nothing but a wooden boat and a dream. And, well... Animals?
Wait, what the fuck?
You see, sometimes problems just kind of solve themselves if you ignore them for long enough. But not all problems. You'd think I'd say some motivational shit right now, but no, the only problem I have is getting to the end by day 10, so... I gotta hurry up. Also, the US looking mighty fine for a permanent base right now, because there ain't no way my ass is staying in the UK for much longer. The night of day 5, I also spent in Africa just killing mobs, and after jumping around for 10 minutes, I got a staggering 1 ender pearl. And by the way, the enderman that dropped it, complete prick. What do you think you are, in a fucking anime? Why are you teleporting like that? Fuck you! Yeah, anyway, it's a horrible night. Not ideal. On day 6, I finally decided to heal the villagers, so I made a brewing stand and popped in all the ingredients necessary to make the weakness potions, and then I just completely forgot about it. Instead of actually healing them, I just ended up going back to the US to prepare an area for my base. To summarize, I just cut down a bunch of trees. Oh, and also, I made this little crop farm next to Lake Michigan, so that's kind of cool. Began day 7 with a nice little snack. Then I just kind of decided that Europe doesn't deserve any trees, so I spent the day cutting half of them down. Obviously, the night was spent like every other, grinding. Don't ask me why I'm in a hole in this one. I definitely did not run away from zombies. Ah, day 8. 4 a.m. My ass ain't sleeping. I'm already back in Europe, fucking shit up. I'm talking destroying national parks in seconds. My ass was fueled by hate and anger for plants and nature. You know, I'm kind of starting to enjoy cutting down trees. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but if I was like a rainforest, I'd be mad scared right now. I digress. Anyway, boom, nighttime, killing more Endermen. This one even placed a block mid-fight. Bro thinks this is Bed Wars. It was silly goose. Now, day 9 was huge, because besides going back to the US and expanding the crop farm and like making a little animal pen, which is not really important, what's important is the fact that during the night of day 9, I finally got the last few pearls that I needed to go to the end. So obviously, without preparing one bit, I immediately went to the nearest end portal. But before embarking on the fight of the century, I just had to get some good night's rest.
It's time to fucking sleep. God damn, give me this bed.
And we're off to the end. Now, I was ready to absolutely fucking demolish this dragon. Just completely end it. I'm talking ravage, pulverize. Let's go. Whoa, look at that. I have 60 whole levels. That's so sick. I can use these to enchant so much stuff. Yeah, I died while getting kelp.
No way, I just did that. I lost 68 levels!
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I wasn't gonna go end hunting because I was scared of losing my levels, but I guess there aren't any levels to lose now, so I guess here we go. The end. That was so stupid. Why did I do that? Almost immediately after teleporting through to the islands, I spotted an end city.
No way.
Sadly, one without a ship. Nonetheless, I rushed in to loot it, almost died to the shulkers, hit a sick clip, and realized how bloody overpowered the end chests are.
Bruh, this is like maxed out armor.
I need to get more. And so I switched my render distance to 64 chunks and immediately spotted 2 new victims of my plunder. One of these end cities had an elytra, so I loaded it first. And besides the elytra, it also had what were basically god boots.
Oh my god. God damn.
I can't stop. Day 12, I got the great view from up here achievement, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, besides that, it was just looting cities after cities. I was genuinely in awe that these chests had so many overpowered items.
Oh my... Holy sh...
Loot, plunder, stuff, stealing. Before leaving the end, I broke the Ender Dragon egg because I forgot to do it earlier. To be honest, this whole end adventure was a blur. Everything was so repetitive, but I mean, it was worth it. The loot is so good. During those 3 days, I got 3 elytras, basically a god set of armor and tools, almost 2 stacks of gold, a stack of iron, and 22 diamonds. Keep in mind, I went into the end with unenchanted, half-broken iron armor and tools, and here I am now, 3 days later. Yeah, sure, I might have lost a little bit of sanity.
Get the fuck out of here. No!
But I mean, come on. I think we can all agree that it was so worth it. It's night of day 14. I have a looting 3 sword and a growing demand for gunpowder for fireworks, so I planted some sugarcane and went over to Africa to kill some creepers. I spent the entire 15th day creating a beautiful villager hut for them to call home. The villagers are going to bring me great profits, so I need them to feel good. A day later, I finished their hut and finally went on to heal them both. While they were recovering, I decided to fix her up. So I grabbed a shovel and a pick and went on to do something that could possibly be considered the best thing to ever happen to that continent. After that, I grabbed the UK villager and brought him to the hut. I was about to grab Jim, but something deep inside me was itching. Like this deep need to do one more little adjustment to Europe. Day 20, I grabbed Jim and introduced him to his new home. Let's hope he enjoys this little room because he's gonna stay here for the rest of his life. Day 21, I went back to Africa to get some stone for the floor of the villager house. And while I was there, I also grabbed some coal. Why, you ask? Because I fucking can. Shut up! I slapped some stone bricks into the floor of the villager house. Now, since I had both villagers and cows, I was finally able to craft a lectern and start trading. After only a few tries, this happened.
Holy shit.
What? Also, I don't know why I'm acting as if a mending book for 1 emerald is a rarity, because it almost always happens when you kill a zombie villager. Nevertheless, I bought 3 of them right away and forced the other villager to become a farmer. This allowed me to purchase bread for dirt cheap and give it right back to the villagers so they can breed. I am the best and most humane businessman on planet Earth.
Child.
After that, I started combining the armor I got from end busting and the mending books, and at the end of the day, I had 3 finished pieces of god armor. By the way, if one of you silly wankers comments something like,
"Oh, but that's not god armor because it doesn't have thorns on it,"
I will find you and leave you with a 2 feet tall cactus up your ass. On day 23, I ran some errands mainly related to farming, but on day 24, I let greed get to me. The end was just too good. I got a massive urge to go back and raid more end cities, and so I slapped mending on my elytra, and then ventured into the endless void in search of material goods. At this point, I was so tired of getting hit by shulkers, it genuinely pissed me off so much. So I just kind of started following a certain protocol of looting end cities that allowed me to avoid as many of them as I possibly could. Let me take you through it. Basically, I'd find an end city, grab the Ender Dragon skull from the front of the ship, dig down around here, slap the shulker around a bit, steal the goods and elytra, then find my way to the big, thick, juicy towers that also happen to be filled with loot. I'd jump in, grab the valuables from the 2 chests, and quickly leave. After that, I'd look for this little 3-story hut. I'd go around it and loot the single chest from the back, and that's pretty much it. I did this a few times, and I'm not even gonna bother boring you with all the footage because it genuinely looks all the same. You probably didn't even notice that the last 3 clips from the ship, the tower, and the hut are from 3 completely different end cities. We're a quarter in, and I'm basically already maxed out, which is really good. I came back to the main island and quickly fixed my armor in this jerry-rigged Enderman farm. And on day 26, I was already back in the overworld, and let me just show you all the shit I got. I mean, it's incredible. 6 elytras, 30 diamonds, 2 stacks of iron, over a stack of gold. All this in 3 Minecraft days, by the way. I spent like half of day 26 just admiring all my goods. I'm not entirely sure what I did later, to be completely honest. All I wrote down is that I went to Asia to get a pumpkin, and I think waiting for it to grow dead-ass took me all day and a bit of the night, so I ended up killing some mobs to kill the time. kill mobs and time, you know, you get it? 2 birds with 1 stone. Anyway, on day 27, I came back to my base and planted those pumpkins. I'll probably use them for trading later. Wait, stop. Let's pause for a second. Is something missing? Look at the state of my house. That's right, I don't have one. I currently sleep amongst a bunch of double chests randomly filled with all my stuff. I decided it's time for a change. It's time for me to finally build a proper house for myself. And so I did, and it might have taken me a few days. It's honestly embarrassing how long this took. I wanted to make it out of dark oak and birch, but I just could not settle on the size, so I kept building and removing and rebuilding and removing and then building it once more before finally finding something that works for me. So yeah, this took me 3 whole ass days to make. So now I suppose it's day 30. My food supply was running low, so I took a little break from the house construction to build a small yet extremely efficient cow farm. The design is very human. Basically, when you breed the cows in this hole, they start dying from entity cramming. But you see, the whole trick relies on the fact that only the old ones die, making room for a new generation of cows, soon to be bred and squished to death by their own descendants in an endless cycle of torture and pain. Isn't that awesome? Day 31, I managed to get an Unbreaking 3 villager, which is really cool because I'll finally be able to have a fully maxed out elytra. I am also getting really close to finishing the house. I still need some deep slate for the floors, so I went over to Africa for a mining session. By the way, I'm mining in Africa because, again, diamonds are supposed to be more common there, so I might as well get some while mining for building blocks. I spent the entirety of day 32 filling out the floors. Then I took a wee nap, finished filling out the floors, and then filled out the roof. Now, I'm not proud of this. I filled it in with birchwood. I know. Calm down. I'll fix it in like 50 days. Okay? Trust me, soon enough, a birchwood roof will be the least of our problems. Day 34, I smelted some sand for glass and installed Mac OS on my house. Yeah, fair enough. Let me show you my absolutely gorgeous house in all its glory with this awesome replay mod time-lapse thingamabob. And, also, see those chests? Yeah, I kind of might have spent days 35 to 39 on moving all my stuff into the house and then organizing it. Before you say that, there's no point in making an 100 days video if I'm just gonna skip over 5 whole days. Would you really like to see 30 minutes of this? Now that I organized all my stuff, surely finding an item, such as, let's say, a hopper, will take me mere seconds, right? That was not even me showing you how organized all my stuff is. I was genuinely looking for a hopper, because I wanted to build another one of those extremely humane cow farms. Whatever. After finishing the house and organizing all my loot, I had the best idea ever. I am going to cut down the Amazon rainforest, but I can't do it yet, because there is no way in hell I am cutting an entire-ass rainforest down with an axe that isn't enchanted with efficiency 5. But that's a tricky enchantment to get, especially since I don't have a billion emeralds to trade for it with the villagers. So I had a better idea. I decided to build an Enderman farm just so I can enchant my axe. So I suppose I should just get right to it. I'll need a bunch of stuff to build it. I'm talking 576 leaves. Boom. Done. 155 building blocks. Cha-ching. 56 ladders. Yeah, okay. A bunch of other random shit that is way too specific to individually list out.
How many hoppers? 6 hoppers. Do you think I'm a fucking billionaire? I mean, I am.
Also, this is the point where I started going absolutely fucking mentally insane. Looks coming at you, supersized figures. Yeah, all I need now is a name tag, so I just traded for it with a villager and hopped into the end. Now, the first half of building the farm went pretty smoothly, but when it came to spawning the endermite, oh my god, it took so long.
Oh my god, bro. Oh.
Now, it might seem that I have gotten myself into a bit of a predicament, but worry not, I have a great plan. Alright, well, that isn't that great, but it's fine. I just flew back to the farm with a pumpkin on my head and got all my stuff back. I suppose we're back to spamming pearls until a goddamn endermite spawns. When it eventually did spawn, I named it Globber and immediately sentenced it to an eternity in captivity. Yeah, so there we go. Now I had a working enderman farm, but I didn't have a place to enchant stuff at, so I quickly built one. I could finally enchant 2 axes and combine them for that juicy efficiency 5 enchant. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. On day 44, I gotta be honest with you all, I lied. I'm a whimsical little rapscallion, and I didn't build this farm just for the axe. I wanted to max out all my tools. And so I went back into the overworld, grabbed a bunch of pretty well enchanted tools I got from end busting, and started combining them. After a few minutes, I already had a maxed out sword, silk touch and fortune pickaxes, axe, and shovel. Also, I saw this enderman getting fucking blasted out of the farm. Last thing I needed was Feather Falling 4. Now, Feather Falling is a pretty damn rare enchantment, so I was prepared to spend a few days trying to get it. But luckily, I have no life. I remembered this TikTok I watched a few months ago that basically claimed that when you cover up a few bookshelves so the enchantment table doesn't actually enchant all the way up to level 30, the chance of getting Feather Falling 4 is way higher. Wouldn't you know it, my 3rd rotation was none other than Feather Falling 4. It's time. I snapped on breaking onto my elytra, grabbed a bed and 2 shulkers and journeyed far and long to the lands of South America. It's chopping time. I guess now it's just rain. Rain first, mine's the first. Yeah, okay. From all that intense work, I got a double chest of jungle tree logs. I'm gonna spoil something. I never used them. This challenge. They were just sitting in my chests for the entire fucking 50 days. At this point, I wanted to have a lot of emeralds, because, I mean, you never know when they might come in useful. By the way, they did come in useful around day 90. Anyway, the best way for me to get emeralds is to trade some glass panes for them. So I flew over to the Sahara Desert and mined out was probably billions of tons of sand. But now I need to smelt the sand, and I don't really have anything to fuel the furnaces. So I went into the Nether and used the nearby lava to do it. While the sand was baking, I decided to go netherite mining since I still had a bunch of diamond tools. And trust me, mine netherite I did. I dived right into the scorching abyss of the nether, ripping my way through hellish rock, bathing in lava as if it was mere water. I spent days in this gruesome environment, and on day 57, I emerged from the deep nether cavern I had just dug out with my own 2 hands, having mined 12 ancient debris. Enough for 3 pieces of my gear. I grabbed what was now glass from my furnaces and leapt into the portal going right back to the overworld. Wowza, that was good. Anywho, back to letting greed corrupt me. I crafted all the glass into panes and traded it for a small sum of 130 emeralds. I also grabbed the now smelted debris, crafted netherite, and slapped it onto my pick, shovel, and chestplate. But wait! Oh great heavens! My gear seems to have significantly lowered in durability. Golly gee, however will I deal with that? At this point, I had basically everything I've ever wanted. I mean, god armor, a house, an infinite food supply, a bunch of emeralds that I don't even really have a good use for. Yet. I think it's time I give back to the earth, you know what I'm saying? Like, I started thinking, right, how did I give back to the earth? And suddenly I had the great idea to recreate the 7 wonders of the earth. But I can't just copy them, right? I mean, that would be boring. So I thought I'd build my own interpretation of them. I started with the Chichen Itza, or as I first read it, chicken pizza. I'm so hilarious. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm making a chicken pizza in its place. First, I got some clay, cooked it up into terracotta, and dyed it yellow for that cheese. I wanted to use stripped oak logs for the crust, and since I already had a bunch of oak logs, all I had to do was strip them. Now that I was ready, I ventured straight to Yucatan, Mexico, prepared the land for my building, and got to constructing this masterpiece. I somehow messed up the circle at first. Don't ask me how I fucked up a circle this bad. I don't know. I fixed it and finished building the structure itself.
Bruh.
Now, I could have left it at that, but I wanted to bring some chickens onto this thing, and I knew that there were some in Africa. Now, I probably could have just transported 2 chickens in boats from Africa to here, but I had the brilliant plan of breeding them in Africa until there was a bunch of them, and waiting for them to lay eggs that I could then take and use to spawn chickens inside the pizza. While waiting for the chickens to lay some eggs, I decided to tackle another wonder of the world that just so happened to be near where I already was. Okay, hold on. I need to cope just a little bit before explaining what I've done. You see, I recorded this back in February, and since then, I've grown immensely as a person, and my views back then don't reflect how I am now. I just wanted to say that so we're in the clear, okay? Get ready for this shit. I built the Pyramid of Giza. Hear me out. No, I got nothing actually. I'm sorry. I somehow found it funny at the time, but now I just cringe at the thought of it. What's done is done. We have to go over this, okay? I wasn't exactly sure how I'd Gizify a pyramid, but I sure as hell knew I'd need a pyramid to Gizify first. So that's what I focused on for the rest of day 60. After finishing the pyramid, I decided I'll give it a red face that a typical Giza would have from the excessive alcohol consumption, and in pair with that, I also build a pint of beer next to it. By the way, the chickens were breeding very quickly. Whenever a new one was born, I'd shove a stack of seeds right down its throat to make it grow faster. At this point, I was just messing around with this pyramid. I tried making it perhaps a bit obese and kept readjusting them out. Day 63, I was finally done with the pyramid, or so I thought. God fucking damn! I hate creepers. Okay, I'm really done now. And yeah, I fucking hate it personally. Oh yeah, I also got a bunch of eggs and managed to spawn in 2 chickens into the pizza, so that's also done. Now, days 64 and 65 were, I think, the most intense days I experienced doing this challenge. You see, I was working on my biggest and most impressive project yet. I mean, this thing would be so big that I was partially considering making a whole entire video about it alone. It was so big, in fact, that halfway through building it, this whole experience started to take a mental toll on me. I was seriously doubting if I could finish it in time, but I didn't give up. I prevailed, and on day 66, it was finally ready. Okay, guys, if you're standing up, I highly recommend you sit down, because you might just pass the fuck out upon seeing what I have created. You know Petra? That giant ancient city in southern Jordan? I fixed it. I really did. I'll reveal the new and improved Petra in 3, 2, 1. Guys, it's Peter. It's Peter Griffin from Family Guy. It's Peter. Anyway, back at home, I got attacked by a gang of ill-mannered pillagers. This angered me so much that I decided to trigger a raid so I'd have a chance to kill more of them. But before doing so, I wanted to put an iron golem inside my villager house in case any pillagers spawned there. Sadly, it kind of backfired because the golem I had just crafted with my own 2 hands had killed the flag-wielding pillager, making it impossible for me to trigger the raid.
You spent 4 iron blocks on that motherfucker and he does that shit. What the hell?
Day 67 marks the start of another project that I've had in mind for a long time. Basically, there are a bunch of end portals all over this world map, right? And I decided I want to open all of them for no reason, really. I just thought it would be cool or something. I don't know. To achieve this silly little goal, I first had to venture back into the nether and get some blaze rods, which, by the way, took so little time with looting 3. Oh my god, having maxed out tools is so nice. I had a bunch of e-pearls in my chests already, so I didn't have to bother going to the end for the time being. I crafted the Eyes of Ender and embarked on an expedition to fill out every portal on Earth. Started off with Hawaii, then South Africa. Then we had Africa. See, now Africa didn't go that smoothly because seconds after filling in the portal, a few mobs fell into it, including 2 creepers. These silly little creatures are now in unloaded chunks, which means they will simply blow up upon me entering the end. And since I spawned in on a platform floating over a literal void, there is a high chance I will die seconds after following them. Now, after thinking about it for approximately 5 seconds, my brain fired 3 neurons to come up with a brilliant idea of making a shield and popping into the end while holding it. And so that's what I did. I crafted up a shield and leapt into nothingness. And, well... yeah, I got knocked off, died, and lost all my stuff in the void. Is what a lesser version of me would have said. I calmly put on my elytra and used it to fly back up to the main island. I don't fucking die, bitch. While I was back in the end, I grabbed a few more pearls to craft Eyes of Ender with and got back to the grind. Then I filled out a portal in Asia, New Zealand, and that was pretty much it. I looked around for a few more minutes and couldn't find any more portals, so I kind of declared the mission a success and came back home. Then I played around with the remaining Eyes of Ender, because it was pretty satisfying. Now, trust me, this is important for the lore, because some of them started breaking, and when I stopped fooling around, I only had 12 left, which is exactly how many you need to fill out 1 more portal. And when you know it, it just so happens that I found that one last portal in California a few minutes later. That's enough portals. We're done with portals, okay? Day 69, I did not do anything funny. Instead, I got shanked by a zombie piglin while AFK in the nether. nether after trying to find netherite, giving up, curling up in a ball in the corner of my room and crying myself to sleep. Damn, what happened to California? Was it always like this? Did someone say end busting for 5 days straight? No. I think it's time I end bust for 5 days straight. Why? This will literally not profit you in any way. Shut the fuck up. Are you a late game player with nothing to do? Would you like to obtain loot that will profit you in no way whatsoever since all your tools and armor are already maxed out? Boy, do I have an activity for you. Try end busting for an hour and a half straight. It's a great way of spending your limited time while also getting richer in a way that does not matter in the slightest. Just listen to what our satisfied customers have to say. Try end busting now, free of any monetary charges. The only thing you'll be paying with is your sanity. Have fun. Welcome back to the overworld, where we have lots and lots of... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So I'm not even gonna walk you through everything I got. Just know it was a lot of shit. Yeah. I have no fucking life. On a completely unrelated note, wouldn't it be funny if I recreated the White House in Minecraft but then made it a lot shittier? I asked myself a few minutes before creating this masterpiece. I thought while I'm at it, I might as well recreate the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building. So that's exactly what I did. A few minutes later, I was flying over Africa when I realized something very important. This place gotta go. And just like that, I decided to cut down the entire African rainforest. Now, there are some mangrove trees in the jungle which I cut down and then planted in front of my house. That same day, I decided I wanted to unlock more traits for every villager I had, so I just traded the rest of the day away. On day 79 though, while I was having a manic breakdown in the Gulf of Mexico, I noticed that those trees from yesterday grew. Now keep in mind, this was the first time my delusional ass had come into contact with the new trees, so I was pretty confused.
What the fuck is that? Jeez, why is this tree so tall? I mean, I kind of dig it though.
Also, if you're wondering, here's what this challenge has done to my brain.
That's what the fuck?
You know, I feel like a lot of the things I've done so far during these 100 days are purely based on random urges. I mean, I've literally wiped out the UK and France out of existence just because I felt like it. I've cut down both of the biggest rainforests in the world and all the trees in Europe as well, just because I wanted to. Anyway, so after literally not thinking about it for more than 3 seconds, I decided I want a creeper farm. So day 80, I spent basically just getting the resources for it. Got some stone, redstone, and basalt because it looks sick as hell and I want it to be the main building block of the farm. Oh yeah, I also trapped an Enderman in a boat on my balcony. I named him Gerbert. Please be nice to Gerbert, because I sure as hell wasn't.
God damn. Shut up!
After finishing the farm, I had to test it out, so I just AFK'd through the entire day 85.
Look how fucking sick this looks, though. I mean, that looks cool as hell. That looks cool as hell as well.
Good news though, the farm works great and I am now rich in gunpowder. The only thing I need now is sand, but I'll take care of that in a second. For now, I had the brilliant idea to recreate the Pentagon.
Boom.
But Taco, isn't the Pentagon supposed to have 5 sides?
I hear you ask. Yes, this has 5 sides. What do you mean it has 4? Are you feeling okay? You're being crazy, dude. Stop it. Seriously, you're being weird. Listen, I'm just gonna segue into me getting a bunch of sand because I just don't want to talk to you anymore. Yes, I will craft TNT using it. No, I am not going to blow up a country yet. I simply want a few more netherite ingots to add to my armor and tools since I'm not yet full netherite. After getting enough sand to craft almost a stack and a half of TNT, you'd think I'd immediately go to the nether, but nope. For whatever reason, I am cutting down trees again because that's all I apparently do. Let me explain why I'm doing it here though, because I'm really not cutting these trees down for wood or anything like that. You see, it turns out that I never finished cutting down the trees in Europe, so I just felt this yearning obligation to fully complete what I started. Oh my god, Europe has never looked better. To hell with these trees, am I right, fellas? That is possibly the stupidest transition I have ever done, but whatever. Today is the day I finally finish getting full netherite. Or do I? Yeah, I do. It just took me one more day. At the end of the mining session, if you can even call it that, considering I just blew giant caverns into the deep undergrounds of hell, I had all the netherite I needed to upgrade all my armor. Yet before I did that, I quickly flew to my XP farm, repaired everything, and we're back at my base, cooking up some hellish ingots that I will now permanently bind with my armor. Yeah, look at me, all dripped out. I'm like a leaking faucet. It's almost like I'm sweating a lot. Oh wait, I probably am sweating a lot, considering the netherite that covers my body and is in direct direct contact with my skin was just pulled out of a scorching hot furnace. My skin is melting. Holy sh! Remember how like a while back I said I was gonna fix my house and I'd get rid of all the birch in it? Yeah, that day is today. After like 70 days, I finally did it. I replaced all the birch logs in my house with stripped dark oak logs for that classy, mysterious vibe, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, and I also replaced the birch slab roof with deep slate brick slabs, so I mean, it looks classy as hell right now. Okay, wow, these creepers are really pissing me off, I thought to myself after not putting a single security measure in my house and having open holes instead of doors for entrances. Decided to change that, so I put in some fence gates because they allow me to keep the little gateways while also giving me at least some protection from the mobs. Now, this is where I made one of the biggest mistakes in this whole video, I think. You see, it's already day 92, right? I mean, it's not a secret that we're pretty rapidly approaching the end here, and not the dimension. I'm talking about the end of the video. Dumbass. But I am about to come up with one of the best, if not the best projects of this entire video. And it's a pretty tough one to complete, especially in just 7 days. 7? What do you mean 7? Let me explain. I say 7 because I had this brilliant idea to AFK the rest of day 92 away on my creeper farm. Yeah, sure, I got a few stacks of gunpowder, but they're basically useless now. By the way, you already know what I'm talking about, don't you? This project, I mean, you've seen it before with your own eyes. Oh my god, what could it possibly be? Is it the map? Yes, it's the map. It's the giant world map that I want to make, and I only have like a few days left to do it. Now, this was a struggle, a grind, one might call it. Let me tell you all about it. The map. Before doing anything, I needed to know how many maps I'd need to construct a 2D copy of this world. So I harvested my sugarcane farm for paper and sacrificed the scarce iron supplies I had to create 34 compasses, which I then combined with the paper to create 32 maps. My plan was to start at the northwest point of the map, which was the corner to which my base was the closest. I flew east while carefully filling out new maps after leaving the previous ones. This way, I counted that the world was 17 maps wide. Now, all I needed to know was the height of the map. My technique was pretty efficient, so I used it again to map out the western edge of the map, counting 9 maps. Alright, so now I knew that I needed a total of 153 maps. But since I already mapped out the northern and western edges with 25 of them, I only needed 128 more maps. But that's literally 2 stacks of maps.
2 stacks of maps that I don't fucking have.
This is horrible. Since you need 1 compass and 8 pieces of paper to make a single map, I would need over 1,000 iron ingots and over 1,000 pieces of paper. How the hell am I supposed to get that many items in only 4 days? At this point, I was honestly considering just giving up and using that gunpowder I AFK'd for earlier to bomb the Middle East. But there was one more way, and it was right under my nose this whole time.
Move, fat ass. Do you... Empty map, empty map. Okay, hold on, big.
That's right, I had 3 cartographers that sold me maps. The only problem was that they were expensive, really expensive. At their current price, I'd need 900 emeralds to buy 2 stacks of maps, and even I didn't have that money. So I humanely captured and transported the villagers into their own little dirt pen, where at night I let zombies gnaw on their fucking throats until they turned into zombies themselves. After that, I healed them all for a nice little discount. I couldn't waste any time, so while they were healing, I cut down the mangrove trees from earlier to make space for the final project. By the way, a little rant about mangrove trees, and this is a question to Mojang. How the hell did you manage to make a tree that's more annoying to cut down than those big ass oak trees? Like, there's a bunch of random ass logs lodged in between leaves everywhere. Fully getting rid of these trees took me a whole night because I had to dig around trying to find those last few logs that were keeping giant lumps of leaves alive. Whatever. In the morning, the villagers were finally done, so I quickly transported them back into their little hut and started trading. After getting 60 maps in mere seconds, my hope was restored. Bliss. Incredible. Before I started mapping out the rest of the world, I decided to build the frame for the final map, since the mangrove leaves are almost fully gone now. After that, I got 36 more maps and went to the nether to get some glowstone for the backlight of the map. After filling that out, I got to crafting item frames. I'm gonna need 1 for every map that I hang, so it's a good thing I made a cow farm that gave me a bunch of leather. Once the last of the item frames were attached to the massive map, I placed in all the maps I had gotten up to this point, so now I knew what I was actually working with. Alright, well, the only thing that was left to do now was to buy the last few maps and, well, start filling them out. And fill them out I did. I flew day and night mapping out chunk after chunk, struggling to keep up with the rapidly approaching deadline. But in the end, after cutting down the world's biggest forests, after fixing the world's wonders, after accurately depicting California, I could finally hang the last map.